Commander Vrex reclined in his command chair, 4 of his 6 limbs tapping an impatient rhythm against the polished alloy of his desk. The neural display hovering in the air before him glowed with 12 green sigils, each one representing one of the deadliest assassins in the galaxy. 12 apex predators of the Xanthar Empire, all converging on a single coordinate in the forgotten system of Sol 3. 1 human. Just one, Vrex muttered, his mandibles clacking in irritation. A single human. At his side, Lieutenant Pax stood rigid, though the subtle shifting of his translucent skin betrayed unease. One leg shifted forward, then back again. Commander, perhaps we should reconsider. The reports from the frontier. The reports, Vrex cut him off, slashing a clawed appendage through the air, are exaggerations. Propaganda. Fear-mongering. But sir, the last teams we dispatched were incompetent, Vrex finished with a growl. That is why I've sent the Crimson 12. The Empire's finest. Our sharpest blade. They will not fail. Pax hesitated, his skin deepening to a troubled shade of blue. With respect, Commander, the last team consisted of 6 Orion veterans. None returned. Vrex rose to his full towering height, his bulk casting the lieutenant into shadow. Do you dare question my judgment? No, Commander, Pax stammered, lowering his eyes. Only suggesting caution. A hiss escaped Vrex, like pressure venting from a ruptured valve. Caution? Against a single primitive? He thrust a limb toward the viewport, where the blue-green world of Earth glimmered in the distance. Look at them. Fragile. Soft. Overruled by emotion. I've unleashed 12 assassins upon one target. Do you know what humans call that, Lieutenant? Pax's voice was barely audible. No, sir. Overkill. Vrex's mouthparts twisted into what his kind considered a smile. Now watch. Zara, commander of the Crimson 12, crouched low upon a jagged ridge, overlooking the valley below. Nestled at the mountain's base stood the human's dwelling, wood and stone, crude and primitive. Target confirmed, she subvocalized across the neural link. Report in. One by one, acknowledgments came. Cav in position, southern ridge. Krell, western approach. X, eastern perimeter. 9 more followed, crisp and efficient. A perfect net woven around a single structure. Zara had argued against the mission. It was beneath them. Yet orders were orders. Remember, she transmitted coldly, this human is classified threat level Omega. Proceed with caution. No unnecessary risks. Her second, Drav, answered with scorn in his tone. Threat level Omega? For a human? Command is mocking us. Tell that to the 38 operatives who never returned, Zara replied without inflection. You've seen the file. I've seen myths, Drav shot back. No being could have achieved what that record claims. Zara adjusted her optical enhancers, narrowing in on the dwelling. No motion. No defenses. Just smoke curling from a crude stone chimney. Stick to the plan, she ordered. Phased approach. Teams of 3. First team secures perimeter. Second team breaches. Third team confirms the kill. Fourth retrieves the body. Excessive, Drav muttered. Alpha team, move. 3 green lights blinked acknowledgement. Krell, Mex, and Vax advanced, their cloaking fields bending light and shadow around them until they were near invisible. Through the neural feed, Zara watched their silent progress. Smooth. Perfect. Too smooth. Then, Krell's feed dissolved into static and died. Zara tensed. Krell, report. Silence. Krell, acknowledge. Nothing. Mex, Vax, status. Mex's voice came strained. No visual on Krell. He was 20 meters ahead, then gone. Define gone, Zara demanded. Just gone. No noise. No movement. Signal terminated. A chill crept across Zara's exoskeleton. Fall back. Regroup. X's feed winked out. Then Vax's. 3 assassins erased in under a minute. All units, Zara commanded, her voice iron steady despite the adrenaline burning through her veins. Converge on my position. Formation Delta. Drav materialized beside her, his camouflage shimmer fading. What just happened? I don't know, Xanthar admitted. But we're done with subtlety. New plan, overwhelm the target. Full assault. Against one human? Drav said, incredulous. The sound of a creaking hinge cut him off. The cabin door opened. A figure stepped onto the porch. Human, male, unremarkable in stature. He wore coarse blue trousers, a soft shirt boot. No weapons. No armor. He stretched lazily, then lifted his head. His gaze locked on them, across more than a kilometer, and he smiled. And waved. Did he just? Drav whispered. Impossible, Xanthar breathed. Our concealment is absolute. The human cupped his hands and called, his voice carrying with impossible clarity. I know you're out there. All 9 of you. Come on down. I've got coffee brewing. Drav's 4 eyes widened. 9? How could he know our exact number? Even after the first team. Xanthar didn't respond. Her mind raced. The human wasn't fleeing. Not hiding. Not even armed. He was welcoming them. It's a trap, she decided. All units, prepare to. The man's voice cut her off again. It's not a trap. Well, not the kind you're imagining. If I wanted you dead, you'd be dead already. Just like your friends. Xanthar froze. Protocol shattered. Never had a target spoken to her team. Never had one displayed such calm certainty. What do we do? Drav whispered. The human shouted once more, casual as if addressing neighbors. I'm going back inside. Doors open if you want to talk. Or you can stay out here and end up like the others. Your choice. He turned, vanished into the cabin, leaving the door ajar. Zara's decision was immediate. Drav, with me. The rest of you hold position, Zara ordered across the neural link, her voice a razor's edge. Be ready to strike on my command. Drav hissed low from her side. You can't be serious. You're actually going down there. I'm considering getting closer, Zara replied, already moving down the slope, to assess the situation, and to learn what happened to our operatives. The approach took 10 minutes, even at their enhanced velocity. Every step set Zara's instincts on edge, bracing for the ambush that never came. No trap. No counterattack. Only silence. They reached the tree-line bordering the cabin's clearing without incident. This isn't right, Drav whispered. All wrong, Zara admitted. Her threat assessment modules pulsed with contradictions. The structure radiated no advanced energy signatures. The human had displayed no weapons, and yet 3 of her finest had been erased without a trace. Cover me, she commanded. Then, in a blur of motion, she sprinted across the open ground, enhanced musculature propelling her to the cabin's porch in seconds. She pressed herself against the wall, energy blade humming faintly in her grip. From inside came the unhurried sound of movement, the clink of ceramic, the scrape of chairs. The human was preparing drinks. You can come in, the man's voice called, no longer amplified across distance but calm and conversational. Or you can keep posturing outside. Either way, your coffee's cooling. Zara glanced at Drav, who had taken the opposite side of the doorway. Every protocol in the Xanthar military screamed against entering. Yet 3 assassins were gone, and she needed answers. With a decisive motion, she pushed the door open and swept inside, blade leveled. The interior was as primitive as its exterior. Rough-hewn wooden furniture, a fire glowing in a stone hearth, shelves heavy with physical books, actual paper and bindings, relics of a forgotten age. At the center sat the human. A plain table before him. 2 steaming mugs. His hands visible. No weaponry. No advanced technology. Just calm. There we are, he said with an easy smile. I thought you'd wait out there forever. Name's Jack. Jack Solomon. Zara remained coiled, blade held steady, her stance uncompromising. Where are my operatives? Jack lifted one of the mugs, took a sip. Straight to the point. No small talk. Fair enough. He gestured at the empty chair across from him. Sit. We should talk. I'll stand, Zara replied. Suit yourself. He shrugged, unbothered. Your friends are alive. Mostly. Mostly. Drav growled from the doorway. Jack's smile thinned. One of them tried to shoot me through the window. Might lose an arm. Self-defense, you understand. The warmth in his expression remained, but in his eyes a cold glint surfaced, sharp, merciless. The shift made even Zara's battle-hardened nerves tighten. What are you? She demanded. Jack laughed softly. That's philosophical, isn't it? What's anyone? You know what I mean, Zara snapped. No human should be able to sense us. No human should neutralize 3 assassins without sound or trace. Ah. Jack set his mug down. That's where you're mistaken. You believe you understand humans. You've studied us, catalogued us, written reports about our strengths and weaknesses. But you've overlooked something essential. Zara's blade angled closer. And what is that? Jack leaned forward, his smile widening. We are not all the same. Some of us are different. A sudden crash from outside jolted Zara's attention. Across the neural link, she felt another operative's feed cut to black. Then another. Her mandibles twitched. What's happening? Jack took another calm sip. I told you it was a trap. Just not the kind you were picturing. Zara lunged, blade flashing toward his heart. But Jack didn't retreat. He moved forward, impossibly fast, far beyond human limits, sliding inside her strike. His hand clamped her wrist. Pressure applied to points no Xanthar enemy had ever exploited. Her fingers spasmed. The blade fell to the floor. Interesting, Jack murmured, still holding her wrist as though testing an instrument. Different nervous system. But the principle's the same. Signals along pathways. He tightened his grip slightly, and Zara's arm went completely numb. Disrupt the pathway. Disrupt the signal. Drav roared, charging through the doorway with weapon raised. Jack released Zara, sidestepped with effortless precision, and tapped Drav once at the base of his skull, a touch so casual it seemed dismissive. Drav collapsed instantly, lifeless as a puppet whose strings had been severed. Now then, Jack said, calmly returning to his chair as though nothing had transpired. Where were we? Ah yes, you were about to ask why I haven't killed you. Zara forced control back into her body, her voice a rasp. Why? Jack's smile faded into something colder. Because I need you to deliver a message. His eyes hardened, dark as the gulf between stars. Your empire has sent 38 assassins to kill me. You are numbers 39 through 50. None have succeeded. None will. Zara steadied her breathing. What do you want? I want to be left alone, Jack said, his tone low but brimming with a violence that needed no demonstration. Tell Commander Vrex his choices are simple. Withdraw your forces. End all aggression toward Earth and her colonies. Recognize our independence. Or I will come for him. Ice spread through Zara's veins. How do you know about Commander Vrex? Jack's lips curved in a smile that carried no warmth. I know everything about your empire. Your strengths. Your weaknesses. Your fears. He leaned closer. Want to know what else I know? Despite herself, Zara nodded. I know Vrex is watching us. Right now. Through your neural feed. In the command chamber aboard the flagship, Vrex jolted upright. The human's gaze locked through the display, directly at him. Impossible, Vrex hissed. Your technology is impressive, Jack continued, eyes unblinking. But it isn't secure. I've intercepted your transmissions. Read your reports. Listen to your plans. He stood, crossing the room to a plain wooden cabinet. From it, he drew a small metal cube, polished and unremarkable. Do you know what this is? He asked. Zara shook her head. A quantum entanglement communicator, Jack explained. Instantaneous communication across any distance. Your empire has chased this dream for decades. We perfected it 5 years ago. He set the device gently on the table. But that isn't what matters. What matters is what it represents. And what is that? Zara found herself asking. That you're not the advanced ones here, Jack said simply. We just let you believe it, because it was convenient. Because we weren't ready to reveal our hand, Jack said quietly. But your commander's obsession with destroying me has forced the issue. Outside, fresh crashes split the air. Zara's neural display flared with sudden emptiness as more signals winked out. 8 of her 12 assassins gone. Her voice faltered. Who are you? Jack's expression softened just slightly. Just a man who wanted to be left alone. But your empire refused to allow that. So here we are. He gestured to the cabin, to the wood, the stone, the humble firelight. This place? This life? It's a choice. Not a limitation. I could surround myself with technology that would make your empire's greatest marvels look like toys, but I prefer simplicity. He sat back down at the table. Now, Zara of the Crimson 12, you have a decision. Deliver my message or join your teammates. My teammates are dead, Zara said flatly. No, Jack corrected gently. As I told you, they're mostly alive. Contained. Neutralized. He tapped his temple. I know where every one of them is. I can release them, or I can't. Suddenly, Zara's neural link pulsed with data pings. Locations, vital signs. All 9 missing operatives, faint but alive. How? She demanded. Jack's smile was unreadable. Your empire has studied humans for decades, and yet you've understood so little. We are not just another species to dominate. We are something else entirely. He rose from his chair. Time's up. Your commander needs an answer. Will you deliver my message? Zara stared at the impossible figure before her, a single human who had dismantled 11 of the Empire's most elite killers without effort. She thought of the reports she had dismissed as propaganda, the warnings she had ignored. Finally, she lowered her weapon. I will deliver your message. Jack nodded once. Good. One more thing. He reached into his pocket and produced a small data chip, flicking it across the table. Zara caught it easily, her mind already racing. Give that to Vrex. Proof that I could have ended him any time this past year. Maybe it'll persuade him. Her mandibles twitched. You've been inside our command center? Jack's voice was calm, matter-of-fact. I've been everywhere I needed to be. He turned toward the door. Now go. You have 36 hours to deliver my terms. If I hear nothing, I will assume your silence is rejection. He opened the cabin door and stepped aside. Your ship is where you left it. I've already retrieved your teammates. They're aboard, sedated. They'll wake once you return to Empire space. Zara moved cautiously toward the exit, never letting him leave her sight. This isn't over, she said. That, Jack replied, depends entirely on Commander Vrex. On the flagship Void Reaper, the neural display blinked to black. Vrex sat frozen, mandibles trembling. All 12 assassins erased. Just as before. Commander. Lieutenant Pax's voice was careful, almost timid. What are your orders? Vrex said nothing, his mind locked in a storm. A single human. An impossible human who knew too much. Who dismantled the Empire's finest without breaking stride. Sir. Pax pressed gently. Their vessel is on our scanners. They're en route back to Imperial space. Vrex's gaze hardened. Prepare a secure interrogation chamber. I want every detail extracted. Yes, Commander. Pax bowed and hurried from the room. Vrex turned back to the viewport, Earth glimmering in the distance. For the first time in his long career, something new crawled up his spine. Just one human, he whispered. His voice cracked. Just one. The interrogation chamber aboard the Void Reaper was engineered to break even the strongest. Walls that swallowed sound and light. A deliberately chilled atmosphere. Gravity weighted just enough to grind fatigue into every movement. Zara stood unaffected. 3 hours under questioning, she hadn't flinched. She hadn't sat. Her answers remained steady. "Repeat your account," Vrex demanded, voice dangerously quiet. "Leave nothing out." "As I have stated 6 times, Commander," Zara replied, mechanical in her tone. "The human neutralized my team with minimal effort. He demonstrated knowledge of our command structure, operations, and communication systems. Such intelligence should have been impossible for a primitive world to obtain." "Impossible?" Vrex snapped, his 6 limbs slamming down in unison. "Yet it happened. How?" "Unknown," Zara answered. "He claimed technological superiority while dwelling in primitive surroundings. He displayed physical capabilities beyond all projections." And she inclined her head toward the object on the table. "He provided this." The data chip sat there, silent, innocuous. For 18 hours the Empire's finest specialists had examined it. None dared link it into the network. None dared risk it. "And your assessment, Commander of the Crimson 12? Vrex spat, letting the title drip with mockery. "What do you recommend?" For the first time, something flickered in Zara's expression. Hesitation. Perhaps even fear. She forced it down. "Sir, I recommend full compliance with his demands. Withdraw forces from Earth. Recognize their independence. Immediately." Vrex's fury erupted, slamming the table with all 6 limbs. "Surrender? To one human?" "With respect, Commander," Zara replied, voice low and unwavering, "we have lost 50 agents to him. We were wrong. We thought we stalked prey. Instead, we provoked a predator." The chamber doors opened. Lieutenant Pax stepped in, his skin pale with distress. "Commander, the chip's initial analysis is complete." "Well," Vrex hissed. Pax hesitated. "It contains surveillance footage. From inside this chamber. From your private quarters. From the bridge. Dated across the past year. He has been watching us, everywhere." Vrex froze, mandibles trembling. "That's not possible." "There's more," Pax said, his voice strained. "The chip holds schematics of our flagship. Access codes for our defense grid. Encryption keys for our communications. Even the override codes for your private escape pod, Commander." The silence in the room was suffocating. Vrex stared at the small piece of metal as though it were venom itself. "That cannot be," he whispered, though his conviction faltered. "The evidence is clear, sir," Pax said carefully. Zara broke the silence. "His deadline expires in 11 hours. He was very specific about the consequences of defiance." "He's bluffing," Vrex snapped, though even he could hear the fracture of doubt in his own voice. "One human cannot threaten the might of the Xanthar Empire." "Permission to speak freely, Commander," Zara said. Vrex waved a limb dismissively. "The human knew our names, our positions, the location of this very ship. He neutralized 12 of the Empire's most elite assassins without even breaking stride." She leaned forward slightly. "And he didn't kill us when he could have. That wasn't mercy. That was a message. He wanted us alive, so you would understand what you are dealing with." Vrex's mandibles clicked in irritation. "And what is that, exactly?" "Something we catastrophically underestimated," Zara answered. On Earth, Jack Solomon sat on the porch of his cabin, watching the sun bleed gold and crimson across the mountains. A mug of steaming coffee rested in his hand. To a casual observer, he was nothing more than a man enjoying a quiet evening. They would never notice the softly humming quantum communicator beside him, the faint neural interface gleaming along his temple, or guess that the humble dwelling concealed technology centuries beyond the Empire's wildest achievements. A gentle chime sounded. Jack touched the communicator. "Solomon," he answered. "General Hayes," came the reply. "The Xanthar command ship shows increased activity. Patrol vessels are converging on the flagship." "Preparing for attack or retreat?" Jack asked, sipping his coffee. Unknown. But the deadline approaches quickly. They've yet to respond to your terms. Vrex is proud, Jack murmured, watching an eagle carve the sky. He'll wait until the last moment. And if he refuses? Jack's eyes hardened. Then I demonstrate why that would be a mistake. Jack, Hayes's voice grew cautious. The Council is concerned. This mission wasn't sanctioned. You acted alone. The Council debated while the Empire hunted our outposts, Jack said evenly. I chose action. That action could ignite a war we're not ready for. Jack smiled grimly. We've been ready for decades, General. The Empire just doesn't realize it yet. That's not your call to make. It became my call when they sent killers to my doorstep. His tone sharpened, final. Don't worry. Vrex will decide wisely. And if he doesn't? Jack's smile widened, but it carried no warmth. Because I know something he doesn't. Aboard the Void Reaper, Commander Vrex paced the bridge, his claws clicking against the alloy deck. 8 hours remained until the humans' ultimatum expired. Options, he barked. Admiral Thrix, summoned from Imperial Fleet Headquarters, stepped forward. We have 3 battlecruisers in position. We could obliterate his dwelling from orbit, though it risks full-scale war with a species we clearly do not understand. That seems unwise, Lieutenant Pax interjected. Thrix's glare could have cut steel. Remember your place, Lieutenant. He speaks sense, Vrex admitted reluctantly. The human possesses communication and surveillance capabilities beyond our detection. If we strike and fail, we expose our intentions to his entire species. So we surrender? Thrix sneered. The mighty Xanthar Empire, conquerors of 27 systems, bowing to one human? Not surrender, Vrex corrected. Strategic reassessment. The bridge doors slid open. Zara entered, flanked by guards. Though technically under arrest pending inquiry, her expertise remained too valuable to dismiss. Commander. She bowed slightly. You summon me? Yes. You've had the most direct contact. Assess him. Not just his technology, him. Zara considered her words. He moved faster than any human should. Neutralized Drav with a single touch. Drav, who survived combat against Krellic berserkers. He identified pressure points in my physiology that even our medical archives don't contain. Enhanced, Thrix suggested. Genetically modified? More than that, Zara replied. He was confident. Not arrogant. Certain. As though he had already calculated every possibility and knew the outcome before it occurred. Before Vrex could respond, a communications officer interrupted. Incoming transmission. Origin point unknown. On screen, Vrex commanded. The main display flickered. Jack Solomon appeared. Average frame, plain clothing, nothing remarkable save his eyes. They held the calm inevitability of a predator circling prey. Commander Vrex, Jack greeted warmly. I see you've assembled quite the war council. Admiral Thrix, bristling with aggression, as always. Lieutenant Pax, voice of reason. And Zara, survivor of the Crimson 12. He smiled faintly. Good to see you again, Zara. Vrex stepped forward, fury in his posture. How are you accessing our secure channels? I told you, Jack replied smoothly. Your technology isn't as secure as you believe. He leaned back in a simple wooden chair. Time is running short. Have you reached a decision? The Xanthar Empire does not respond to threats, Vrex declared, drawing himself up to his full imposing height. That wasn't a no, Jack observed, amused. Interesting. What guarantee do we have you'll honor an agreement? Admiral Thrix demanded. Why should we trust you? You shouldn't, Jack said simply. Trust must be earned. But consider, I spared your assassins when I could have killed them. I revealed the secrets I already hold, instead of exploiting them unseen. Are those the actions of someone seeking war? What do you want? Vrex asked, his voice taut. Leave Earth and her colonies in peace. Recognize our independence. Nothing more. You expect us to believe this is about one human? Thrix scoffed. One human. Jack laughed, cutting him off. Is that what you still think? He tapped something off-screen. The transmission split. One half showed Jack. The other revealed a sprawling underground complex where thousands of humans worked amid technology so advanced it rendered Xanthar science crude. This is Outpost Alpha, Jack explained. One of 37 such facilities across Earth and her colonies. While you monitored our public facade and dismissed us as primitives, we were preparing. Another tap. The display shifted again, orbital platforms shimmering into view, cloaked until now. Invisible fortresses encircling Earth. A planetary defense grid, Jack said evenly. Capable of intercepting anything you field. Even your Nova-class planet killers. Another tap of Jack's controls, and the display shifted again. This time to reveal a fleet of ships, their design unlike anything the Xanthar Empire had ever encountered. And our offensive capabilities, Jack said quietly. Ready to deploy at a moment's notice. Vrex stared at the images, mandibles slack with shock. Impossible. Our surveillance saw exactly what we allowed you to see, Jack finished. For over a century we have known of the Empire. We watched your expansion, studied your weapons, tracked your conquests, all while preparing for the day you would reach our corner of the stars. Admiral Thrix spoke carefully, his aggression tempered now with unease. If what you show us is real, why petition for independence? Why not simply enforce it by force of arms? Jack's expression softened slightly. Because despite what you believe, humanity does not seek war. We never have. We are prepared for it, regrettably we excel at it, but it is not our desire. I'm not a diplomat, Commander Vrex. I am a soldier. One who grew tired of watching your assassins slaughter my people. My actions today were unauthorized, a personal response to repeated provocation. But make no mistake, if you force the issue, my government will support me. The implications rippled through the bridge like static. Vrex exchanged glances with his officers, mandibles twitching. Finally, he spoke. I require time to consult with the Imperial Council. You have 5 hours, Jack replied. I will contact you then. The transmission ended, leaving silence heavy on the bridge. Could it be deception? Thrix muttered after a long moment. Fabricated images? Vrex turned to Zara. Your assessment? Her gaze was steady. In that cabin, he had no reason to bluff. He could have killed me at any instant. I believe what he showed us was the truth, or at least enough of it to make his point. 5 hours, Vrex whispered, to decide the future of the Empire. 4 hours and 55 minutes later, Jack sat again on his porch, coffee in hand, the communicator chiming softly. Right on time, he murmured, activating the link. Commander Vrex appeared, his posture rigid and formal. Human Jack Solomon. I speak now with the authority of the Imperial Council. I'm listening, Jack replied calmly. The Xanthar Empire agrees to your terms, Vrex said, each word measured. Our forces will withdraw from Earthspace and her colonies. At the next Galactic Congress, we will formally recognize your independence. His mandibles clicked uneasily. In exchange, we request a non-aggression pact. Jack inclined his head. Acceptable. I'll inform my government. Our diplomats will formalize the treaty. There is one more thing, Vrex said. A personal question. Go ahead. The technology you revealed, your hidden fleets, your capabilities. Why the illusion of primitivism? Why dwell in a wooden shack when you clearly command so much more? Jack smiled faintly, eyes on the mountains. Because just because we can build wonders doesn't mean we should live inside them. Some of us choose simplicity. It keeps us human. Vrex seemed to wrestle with this thought, then nodded slowly. Perhaps that is why we misjudged you. We saw choice as limitation. A costly mistake, Jack said softly. One last question, Vrex pressed. Your assassins, you said you sent them back. Yet when their ship returned, only Zara was awake. The others remained in stasis, sedated. Jack's expression flickered with something colder. A figure of speech, Commander. Sending them back in pieces doesn't mean physical dismemberment. It means I shattered their confidence, their certainty, their belief in superiority. Though, he allowed himself a wry smile, the one who tried to shoot me through my window did lose a few fingers. Unfortunate, but necessary. Vrex nodded grimly. I see. Then our business is concluded. Almost, Jack corrected. His tone darkened. No more assassins. Ever. Not for me, not for any human. Violate this, and next time, I won't be so diplomatic. The threat hung in the silence, deeper than words. Vrex bowed his head slightly. Understood. The channel closed. Jack leaned back, sipping his coffee as the first stars kindled across the sky. Moments later, his communicator chimed again. Solomon, he answered. It's Hayes, came the voice of the general. Xanthar ships are withdrawing. They're really leaving. You did it. We did it, Jack corrected. The charade worked flawlessly. Outposts, defense grids, fleet. Our special effects team deserves medals. Hayes chuckled. Smoke and mirrors. Oldest trick in the book. Sometimes the simplest tricks are the most effective, Jack replied. They saw what they feared most, a civilization beyond their reach. Their pride filled in the rest. The council is split, Hayes admitted. Half want to pin a medal on you. Half want a court-martial. Jack stretched, smiling faintly. Tell them I'll settle for being left alone. I've got repairs to make. Your assassins weren't exactly gentle. One last thing, Jack. Neutralizing 12 elite alien assassins, that wasn't smoke and mirrors. That was real. Jack's eyes gleamed with quiet mystery. Let's just say some humans are special, General. I'm only one of many. He ended the transmission, gazing up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Empire was re-evaluating everything it thought it knew about humanity. Good. Let them wonder. Let them fear. Just one human, Jack murmured, echoing Vrex's words. Sometimes that's all it takes. In the valley below, a wolf howled at the rising moon. Jack lifted his mug in silent salute, one predator acknowledging another, before retreating into his simple wooden cabin. For tonight, at least, he had what he wanted. Peace, solitude, and the quiet knowledge that the greatest empire in the galaxy would now think twice before ever threatening his home again. Not bad for just one human. If you've journeyed with Jack Solomon through this story, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which part struck you most? The quiet defiance, the shadow war of perception, or the reminder that sometimes one human is enough? Be sure to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed this tale. Leave a comment with the kind of sci-fi worlds you'd like to explore next. Your feedback shapes the stories to come. Until then, keep watching the stars. Milky Way.